This is big breaking news. Right now, we have top major retailers like Walmart and Target. They are under extreme pressure right now, and we could see big things happen to them very soon. All right. This is a major warning for you to get stocked up and to get prepared and to keep prepping. All right. Get your prepper pantry stocked up with food, goods, and survival items right now, because we could see major gaps in the supply chain and major shortages at any of our big box retailers, but especially Target and Walmart. They're getting hit hardest right now because they're the largest ones being affected by this. All right, they have the highest numbers and they're being hit the hardest. All right, and this is part of their business model. This is an extreme open gap in their business model as well. They have been set up like this, and it leaves them over leveraged at times, and we could see major shortages and major problems at these companies. All right, and this is part of it all. This is part of the collapse. All right, this is part of making everything so scarce, so unsafe, that there has to be a clampdown. There has to be rationing of resources, and there needs to be tracking and tracing of all items, and have a digital ID wallet. All right, this just passed in Europe, in the EU, the digital ID wallet, and it's already in multiple countries by law. All right, and this is coming to the US very soon, and you can bet that big box retailers like Walmart and Target, you will be forced onto the system in order to do business with them. That's what's coming very soon, and we have to say no to this. All right, we have to say no, and we have to push back before things get even worse. And we also need to be filling in the gaps. All right, the key to most of these problems that we're seeing, the solution to most of the problems, is to opt out. We need to be opting out and creating our own systems, building our own systems, growing our own food, building skills that we can leverage and that have value to other people and we can barter with. All right, we need to be building these skills. Get your gardening skills up, your canning skills, all right, baking skills, your handyman skills, your building skills, your mechanical skills, working with engines, cars, automobiles. All these things are going to be extremely valuable in the future, right? And this is just stuff my wife and I were talking about just recently too, all right? All these skills that we need to double down on and get even better at and get really good at, because it's going to be critical in the future when these systems collapse. And then the only way to get back online is to go through their digital ID system, right? To go through their tracking and tracing beast system. All right, so let's get into this news here. This is coming out of Reuters, all right, and they're warning that Walmart and Target are the biggest retailers that are suffering right now from this problem. And this is such a big issue that even the Pentagon is involved. Even the US military, the Pentagon is involved, and they have created a task force, a operation force, to even deal with this problem right now. All right, it's called Operation Prosperity Guardian. All right, this is how serious this problem is, and the global supply chain is being rocked right now. All right, so this is an article coming out of Reuters, and then we will dive into these Walmart and Target numbers, and also all the goods that are going to be affected as well. All right, there's a massive list of goods that are giant percentages of them are being cut off right now. All right, we're going to dive into that too in just a second. But you can see here, global retailers' goods facing disruption risk from Red Sea attacks. All right, this is coming out of Reuters, and they're saying that the attacks in Yemen and the Red Sea and around the Suez Canal are preventing passage through this canal, and it's disrupting global trade, okay? And they're saying that the biggest retailers being hit right now are Walmart and Target. You can see here, The Suez Canal is one of the most important conduits for world trade. This is from Reuters, accounting for about 12% of the world's maritime traffic. The biggest names in the retail world, including Walmart, H&M, Heinz, and Moritz, and Target, extensively use the canal to move goods from major manufacturing markets in Asia. Okay, and you can see here that at the top of the list is Target with 1,574 shipping containers that are going through, that are for Target just in December alone. 1,500 containers going through just for Target alone that are being held up right now, right? You can see here for Walmart, 700 containers are being held up for Walmart. And Adidas, 400, Nike, 110, H&M, 109, Hugo Boss, 40, and you can see the rest there, right? This is affecting major retailers, and this is part of their business model. They have exported everything overseas to China and India, and now we see the consequences of this globalization economy, all right? There are benefits to it, but there are also major downsides, and we are now seeing this because Yemen is now attacking any American or Israeli or NATO country ship, essentially, that's going through the Red Sea. They are now being attacked, and that's why the Pentagon has now activated this Operation Prosperity Guardian. But it is still having problems because they're using drones to attack, right? And these drones, they can just have so many of them, and they keep replenishing themselves. They're very cheap for them to build, and it's hard for them, all right? They were comparing it. They're saying that they're spending $20,000 on a drone, and they're spending $2 million every time just to shoot it down, right, for a missile. Those are rough numbers, but that's about the numbers that they were saying. And they're saying that it's just not working, right? And it's not economical for the goods, all right? We're paying millions of dollars to protect only a few $1 million in goods potentially, right? It just doesn't make sense economically to keep doing this. So now all the ships are reverting and going around Africa. And here are the items and goods that you need to be stocking up on and that are going to be affected from these shutdowns, all right? Because we've had top shipping companies all pull out of this region as well, all right? We have oil tanker companies pulling out of this region. Everyone's pulling out of this region, and they're shutting down the Suez Canal for NATO countries, essentially. That's what's happening right now. Essentially, trade embargoes are happening right now, and trade sanctions are happening right now. And here are the goods. Here's a percentage of goods that go through the canal that come over to the US and Europe that travel through here, all right? And some of these are rough numbers, but you can see here 47% of toys go through the Suez Canal, about 40% of household appliances, about 40% of apparel, about 58% of palm oil, 51% of rice, 47% of tea, 24% of inorganic chemicals, 24% of organic chemicals, 22% of flat rolled steel, 21% of manufactured steel products, 27% of power generating equipment, very important, and 22% of automotive insulated wires and batteries. All critical items that are going through the Suez Canal, and they're all being reverted, and they're going to be at least weeks and weeks behind, right? And this is going to affect global trade for potentially an indefinite amount of time right now, and this is going to increase prices because they have to travel much further. They're going to use more fuel, and this is going to increase the price of goods, all right? And we could definitely see shortages of these goods in the short term. And if you saw there, almost 27% of power generating equipment, generators, things like that, come from overseas and just go through the Suez Canal, right? It's probably an even higher amount that come just completely overseas. This is just the percentage that go through the canal, right? There's a ton that also go to the west coast that come from China, and there's a ton that go through the Panama Canal as well, right? So these are the items that are going to be cut off in a major war, in a major World War III scenario. These are the items that are going to be cut off. And here's the most important ones. Rice, okay? This accounts for a major percentage of the world's calories. If rice is cut off, then we could see mass starvation throughout the world. And we're a little bit more fortunate here that we do have things like corn, right? And that's a whole nother story. GMO corn, all that stuff, whole nother story. But we're fortunate enough that we do have a heavy agricultural supply in the US, but our allies in other countries that heavily depend on rice, they are going to be cut off. And organic chemicals, extremely important. Flat rolled steel, extremely important. Manufactured steel products, that's about 21%. All these things are critical. Automotive insulated wires and batteries, critical. You need to be stocked up on batteries. All right, that's one of the things that I always think about, is batteries are going to be like gold if it hits the fan and the grid goes out and the power's out. It's going to be like gold. People are going to be scrounging for batteries. They're going to be finding old batteries in the couch cushions just to get a little bit of juice out of it, just to get a little bit of something out of it. And you can actually go look this up. You can actually convert a battery, you can convert it to charge your cell phone, right? Just a regular battery. All right, go look that up. You need a specific kind of battery. You need to do a few things, all right? I'm not saying you should do that, but look that up, right? Look that up. It's just something interesting that I've seen before, all right? Not saying you should do that. It's probably dangerous, but if it's hitting the fan, this is knowledge that you need to have, right? You need to have, and it could save your life one day, right? Look up water filtration techniques, very simple water filtration, water distillation, water evaporation techniques. Look up these very simple things that could save your life one day. Save your life if stuff's going down, the supply chain's being shut down. So please hit it up for me down there to help get this video. People need to know that there's going to be big disruptions at Walmart, Target. This is coming out of Reuters News, and they're reporting this, that it's going to be slowed down for a while for these major retailers because they have thousands and thousands of containers that are trying to go through this area, and they've been diverted. And make sure you are getting stocked up, because we could see a situation where overnight there's a cyber attack. There's a problem with the banking sector. You can't get your money out. There's a cyber attack on Walmart. There's a cyber attack on the supply chain. There's physical attacks on the supply chain. A war breaks out, right? This is very serious stuff. Ships being attacked constantly. We're at a very serious escalation. And just imagine if they're able to sink one of these American battleships, all right? Just imagine if they're able to sink one of these ships. It's going to be very bad, very, very bad. Even if they're just able to get a major attack off on one of them, we could see something big happen, right? And this stuff could happen overnight. We could be sleeping and it's the middle of the day on the other side of the world and something triggers it, and that's it, right? The shelves at Walmart, the shelves at Target, the shelves wherever you shop at, they're going to be empty. And we're already seeing empty shelves and extreme measures being implemented, like ID checks and facial scanning, because the crime is so bad. Now imagine if things are actually, there's a extreme disruption to the supply chain. These crime groups are going to be activated right away, and they're going to run in and they're going to steal all the goods. All right, they're going to take all the stuff before we even have a chance to even think about it. Before you can even get to the store, these groups are going to be activating and snatching up the last of the stuff, right? So that's something you need to think about too, and just more reason to be stocked up and prepared now, right? So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have big blessings for your life and your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.